In this demo, you will learn about the various business concepts for data governance and how to manage them. In the data management experience, business domains are the first point of federation across the organization. This means business experts who know their data really well can come in here to curate and govern their business domains and own their own destiny. So for example, here we'll go into the sales business domain. The roles tab here is where the business domain owners can be assigned. And then the next point of federation is where the business domain owners come in and assign data stewards as well as data product owners for managing their business concepts as well as data products. They can also set data estate mappings by selecting which collection they want their business domain mapped to have a data isolation boundary if desired. They come back into details here, and they can edit all of this metadata. So as you can see, this particular business domain is of type functional unit. This can also be set to other business domain types like data domain or regulatory domain or different projects or lines of business, which can be the products or services that they sell. They can also set the parent domain for this particular domain and update the owners. They can then publish their domain to the catalog for consumers to discover, or set it to draft to edit it, or mark it as expired if it is no longer in use. These are the lifecycle management states that apply to all business concepts available in our governance solution. We also show aggregated data quality scores and health actions here for the business domain owner to get a bird's eye view of everything that's happening in their domain and drive down the actions with the responsible owners or drive up data quality if it's not looking good. They can also manage policies here by setting policies at a very higher order construct like business domains or other concepts underneath and have them automatically trickle down through to all the data products that are associated with this particular domain. Compare and contrast this with going into individual asset and setting policies. You don't have to do that anymore. You can set them at higher order constructs and have them automatically trickle down. So in this case, the manager approval required is already pre-selected. So they save these changes, everything is looking good, and they've gone ahead and published it to the catalog. Next, we'll go down into individual business concepts within the business domain. We have data products. This is a logical grouping of physical assets and the main unit of discoverability in the data product search catalog. And then we have glossary terms which stewards can use to describe the data in their particular business domain. OKRs or objectives and key results, which you can use to drive value for the data that you govern, as well as critical data elements, which are logical descriptions of your single source of truth. Let's start off by going into data products and picking an existing one from the list here, such as customer master list. The data product owner can come in here and set this to draft to make some updates before they publish it back to the catalog. They can update the description, the use cases, any other modifications that they need to make. They can also set the data product to be endorsed, and that information will also show up in the catalog as a flag. They can come in here and they can change things like the frequency. They can drive down the health actions by looking at all the individual actions and following up on those. They can update terms of use, documentation. They can add more assets. They already have 8 assets here, but if they want additional assets to be included, they can come in here and maybe even get GenAI to suggest a couple. So this finds relevant assets based on the metadata in the data product. So now we've come up with this list based on GenAI recommendations. They can pick and choose which ones they want to include and bring that into the data product asset experience here. This is where the connection to other business concepts like glossary terms and critical data elements and OKRs happens. They can just hit a button, find the term that they need, and add that to the list of glossary terms that are already here. They can also come in here and review all the different policies that have been inherited by this particular data product from higher order constructs like business domains and other pure constructs like glossary terms as well as critical data elements. The data product owner can also come in here and change their policies and set additional approvers, as well as the duration for which they expect the data product access to be granted. Any attestations required can also be set here. They can then preview the request form to see how the consumer will see the same form. And then they can click on Save Changes when they're done and publish the data product. Now we're going to go back and take a look at glossary terms. So this is where the steward can come in and create the terms used to describe their data. So this one already has a bunch of terms here. So we'll use Get Suggested Terms, which is our GenAI experience to generate some terms automatically for the steward. And then they can come in here, look at all the different terms, their descriptions, pick and choose the ones that make sense and add those to the glossary that already exists here. Now we're going to look at one of the pre-curated glossary terms just to illustrate the idea of everything that's possible. So you can have a description of what the term means. You can have additional metadata here, including acronyms and any other resources that support the term. There is also a related tab where you can see all of the associated terms to this particular term. So any synonyms as well as related terms can be included here. Any links to data products can be added here by clicking on Link Data Product, just like how you can add terms. And then there is also a Manage Policies experience here, similar to what we saw in the business domains experience, where the policy is set at a higher order grain and it trickles down automatically through to all the different data products that are associated with it, as well as the assets underneath. So now we'll go back and look at the OKRs, or the Objective and Key Results experience. There are a couple of OKRs here already. So let's pick this one as an example. So in this case, I'm trying to improve my lead conversion rate. That is the objective. And this is my key result. So this one shows that the goal is 60% and that we are on track to hitting this at 54% right now. The steward can come in here, edit the status. They can also change the goal amounts, progress amounts, and maximum amounts. They can update the key result, make all of the different changes, and save that. This OKR is also linked to 2 data products below to show how it is driving business value for the data being tracked here. So next we look at critical data elements. This is another logical concept that exists within the product to allow logical modelers to come in here and in plain, simple words, describe how they want to define their single source of truth. For example, if they're trying to build a customer ID single source of truth for the organization, they can come in here and see the list of all columns that have been mapped to this particular critical data element from across the data estate. As you can see, we have data assets here from Azure SQL, Fabric, Databricks, as well as Snowflake. Now, if they want to add additional columns, they can do that by looking for the data asset, viewing a list of all the different columns that are mapped to this asset, finding the one that makes sense, and adding that to the definition. Additionally, any data products that contain this critical data element are automatically populated based on commonality of assets between the CDE and data products. You'll also see a Manage Policies tab here, very similar to business domains and glossary terms, that lets you apply policies at a higher order construct and have those trickle down through to the assets that are mapped to this critical data element. There's also a data quality tab here, introducing data quality rules for the first time to be set at a higher order construct like critical data elements. For example, you can have completeness checks or uniqueness checks that are running on the CDE that trickle down through to all the assets and columns that are part of this critical data element. So this is our CDE experience, and that brings us to the end of this demo.